Paragraph 3. Paragraph Gimel. Oh, here it is. Oy yo yada yo yo yada yo yada yo yo yada yo 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 yada oh yada yada.
Which Sicha volume is it?
Okay, if you have this book, then you're in luck. Here we go. 3. You have this book, Likkutei Sichos, and the Inyan of Geula and Moshiach. If you have this book, then it is on page 199. That's where it starts off, 199. And we are now on page where are we now? Here we go. I think we're on paragraph. I don't remember. I think paragraph Gimel. I think we're on paragraph Gimel. Paragraph 3. Huh? Does anybody remember? Anyway, that's where paragraph Gimel. If you have that book. If not, then you can use this book. See, we have this book here, the Rebbe, and here we are on page Achrei Kadoshim, very well-known Sicha of the Rebbe, on page 197. Achrei Mos Kadoshim Tov Shin Nun Alef. If you have the Sefer Sichos of Tov Shin Nun Alef, it's also there, Achrei Mos Kadoshim. So it's found in a lot of places. You can also here have another book where it also is found. You have this, the black book over here, and this is also here. Oh, no. I'm giving you all the options. Here we go. That was from last week. Making so many preparations, by the time we won't have any time to actually learn. Here we go. In this book, it's on page 243. 243.
Does anyone have the file?
I'm sorry, not 243. Here it goes. One second. I got the wrong one. Here it is. Here, it's on page 300. The file, no, the file. But you can look it up. You can look it up somewhere. You can find it. It's a Sikh of
What's
the Rebbe.
Tov Shin Nun Aleph? What's
Aleph.
Tov? What is that in English? In 5-7 or
5751.
Okay, thanks.
Well, that's like what, 1991, right? 1991, huh? Is that right? No. Question. No, 91. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Which volume?
Tavshin 91. It's in a volume in its own. If you have this book, then you'll find that it's the last mimer in this book. In this one. Okay, let's go. Gimel. So the Rebbe asked the question, how can Geula, the main ingredients of Geula, be the 4 letters of Gola? Gola means exile, it's the worst thing. And in order to transform Gola, which is the worst thing that you could possibly have for a Jew, is Gola, to be an exile. In order to transform that to the best thing that there could possibly be to a Jew, all you have to do is add one word. One word. Does that make any sense? You know, it's like saying, you know, you want the Nazi. You call your son, you know, Nazi, just put one letter on. Nazi, L. Nazi. Nazi is the worst thing you could possibly have. How could you just add one letter? All of a sudden it transfers to the best thing. Gola, exile, the Nazis, the Germans, the murderers, that's all just a result from the fact that we're in exile. The result from the fact that everything is confused. That the Romans could kill us, and the Babylonians before that, and the Greeks, and the this, and that. You know, how can these people rule over the Jews? The Jews get kicked out of here, they get ruled over. That's Galus. That's the exile. The reason the Jews are suffering is because of the Galut. Gola. Gola is the worst thing. That's the cause of all of our problems. And you want to say that the best thing that can possibly be is just adding one letter. We should forget about this whole terrible, all the letters that compose this terrible thing of Gola should just be forgotten about. Get rid of them. The same thing in the world. Everything that reminds us of anything that the Goyim did to us, we should just hate it. It should be wrong. Right? Shouldn't it be that? He says no. Rebbe says no. The difference between the best thing for Jews, Geula, and Gola is just one letter. Add one letter, changes the whole thing. Okay, what are we supposed to do? But that's the way the Rebbe looks at things. What does he want from us? What are we supposed to do? Let's look and see. We can explain. We're on Gimel. Geula in Perusho, the word Geula doesn't mean that when we go out of this exile, maznichim et achayim, we leave life behind. Ha'pu'ulot va'olam, these things in the world that were before in Galus. We don't work anymore. We don't have cars anymore. We don't deal with the non-Jews anymore. Nothing whatsoever. Exactly the opposite. Geula, the whole idea of what is really true redemption. What are we working for, the Jewish people? What are we suffering for? That the whole entire world that was so bad before, mishuberet bagalut, and it was in exile, the whole world is in exile, the whole world becomes free. Free to feel godliness. Everyone is free to follow their conscience, to follow the Torah, to see godliness. The whole novelty of the future redemption is shekol mishtakrer. Everything becomes freed. Everything. In shum in yanim misharim avudim. Nothing gets lost. Chas v'shalom begalus. Interesting. The Rebbe never cursed out the goyim. He never cursed out. Right, the non-Jews said that they're all guilty. They're what they've done to us, and they did a lot to us. Lo yutru yotiru begalut shuminyan. There will be nothing. The idea of geula means there will be nothing that you won't see good in it. Afilu anidachim va'avodim. Even those Jews that are pushed away, that want nothing to do with godliness. We did this yesterday. They will also be redeemed. Ha'geula tiyeh geula emitit v'shlema. That's what it means, that the future redemption will be true and complete. What does it mean, complete? Complete every aspect of the world, including time. Everything in quality and quantity. The greatest generality. Until the smallest detail of the world. Call Yehudi, call Bnei Israel. All of the Jews, all of the Jewish people, our youth, our elders, our sons, our daughters, also everything we deal with in the world, all the properties that they own, all the riches that they own, in Kol Pulatim, your next door neighbor, Vesegim, everything that you have, everything in the world will be freed. That Kol Bnei Adam, and all human beings, even the non-Jews, the Kol Inyanim Ha'olam, and even the inanimate things, the animals, will all be freed. In other words, you will see the godliness in everything. It says that lions won't eat up the sheep anymore. They'll be able to eat the straw. Everything in the world will be free. Everything that exists now will still exist. There'll be the same nations and the same capitals and the same businesses and the same everything. But watch you, batel matzav magaluti, but it won't be exile anymore. Nothing will exist only for itself. Everything will exist for the Creator. Yidbatal ha'ola helen v'hester ha'mechasa, there will be negated all this concealment that hides over the existence, the true existence of everything. Nowadays in businesses also they're trying to get, people sent me a couple books trying to put God into business. In other words, your business has to be according to certain principles, even if you lose money, right? Honesty is the best policy. The food has to be of good quality. Everything has to be pure. Everything has to be correct. You can't lie on what the ingredients you put in there. There shouldn't be any poisons in it. Oh, you lose a lot of money if you do it. If you don't do it, okay, I'll lose money, but it's gonna. People at least are trying. It's at least they're trying the idea that ideas and values, what things that you live for, are more important than things that you receive. You know, you cut a couple corners, you make a few $1 million. Why not? But you're not living according to your principles. Then in the future, everyone will live according to principles, and the principles will be what everybody agrees on now: honesty, integrity, love, care for others. Vashibu the darki ateva agashmi ma'olam mishtal shlomizeh, that because that there is no feeling of godliness in the world and it's concealed, then people become slaves to the world. Like the Rambam says, Al Yaleh Al Alef, in the future that won't be. Don't, like the Rambam says, you should not think that in the days of the Moshiach, Yebatal Davar Miman Hagosh Al Olam, that the world will stop existing, or that something in nature will change. That's at least the first part of the redemption. The second part of the redemption, there'll be the raising of the dead and everything. But Olam Kamin Agonoeg, the world will act regularly. The only difference between this world and the world after Mashiach is just that there won't be, the kings won't tell us what the values are, right? There won't be any more Stalins coming up and turn in your parents, or somebody standing up and saying, kill all the strangers or whatever. HaChidush will be Yachzru Kulam Ladat Emet. People will turn to the true religion. Everyone will want to serve God, and they'll want to serve God according to the Torah, the non-Jews, 7 Noahide commandments, Jews, but everybody will be interested in serving God. Why? Because God is creating them. And now nobody feels that. In the future redemption, they'll feel that there's a creator and that he's personally creating everything in the creation. The creation essentially is good. V'yatak and Mashiach will fix up the whole entire world to serve God together, like it says, Safa Barua, Likro B'Shem Hashem. This is how the Rambam ends. Lavdo b'shechem echad, to serve God with one group. I think we did this yesterday. Al pi zeh, according to this, we can understand why Geula has inside of it the words Gola. But it just has the word Gola, means exile, but it just has an Alef. In other words, the Gola, the world, and the is not bad. It's just missing a little Alef. Hagola eno mevatal at the uvda begolas adarabah hagoula enyana la'alot at the chayim. Begola is the purpose of geula is to take the world, the exile, and elevate it, put a little bit of awareness inside of it. There's a lot of stories. There was just recently a story about some fellow that he was like the head of the neo-Nazis in Austria, and somehow or other he was told, and he hated everybody. I mean, hated everybody that wasn't an Aryan or whatever it was, and especially Jews. Somehow or other, he found out, or his mother told him, I didn't exactly read the story, that his mother told him that he was Jewish. At first he couldn't believe it. It was, just 1 second, excuse me. Ma? Okay, sorry. Oh, so there was this fellow, he was in a neo-Nazi party, and he was the leader. And they told him that he was Jewish. And I guess it took him a couple of days or weeks, whatever it was. And suddenly it started sinking into him, what in the world does this mean? That I'm Jewish. What does it mean? Who cares? Who cares that I'm Jewish? Suddenly started to realize that, on the other hand, why do I hate the Jews? If they're important, so important for me to hate them, I hate all of them. All of the Jews, anybody who's just called a Jew, something special about them that I hate them. So suddenly he thought, what is this special thing? What is this unique thing? And he started to realize, well, that's me. And nothing whatsoever changed in his life. Nothing changed whatsoever in his life. He didn't have a big automobile accident or a Jew came and helped him or something like that. He realized suddenly that Jews are really good people. He was just told that he's a Jew. And suddenly it woke up inside of him the fact that who am I really? Who really am I? And suddenly all of a sudden just everything turned around. He told his friends, listen, we're making a big mistake, and for sure I'm making a big mistake, and I'm not doing it anymore. In other words, he just added a little bit of awareness, a little Alef into his brain. Alef means the oneness of God, the specialness of the Jewish people. So suddenly, all of a sudden, came into his personality, his consciousness, something that's totally above personality and above consciousness. But it affected his whole personality, his whole consciousness. It changed his whole life totally. I think he even started doing Torah mitzvahs. He put on tefillin, and the guy's all tattooed and everything. I think he has swastikas. In other words, that's the idea. Everything stayed the way it is, but nevertheless, what changed? All of a sudden, everyone's awareness. Because everyone's awareness changes, of course, their deeds will change, though. But there won't be people who won't have any more arms, they won't have any more eyes, and the people won't. In Rambam, like the Rambam says, right? I'm sorry, the Alpis, according to this, we can understand why the word Geula includes in it the word Gola. Aval, but Tosfos Aleph, it just has an extra Aleph. HaGeula enu mavateles es ha'ovda begalus doesn't take away the fact that there's going to be a world exactly the opposite. The Geula, the whole thing is to elevate the world. Al Yedei Shichrur Kol Inyanim Mi'agalus, that nothing will be under this misconception of exile, this misconception that God does not exist, or that God does not care, or God is not good. All these are misconceptions. That God you have to worship by bowing down to this statue, by bowing down to this person, by bowing to this. All these ego trips, which are all the other religions. I'm going to go to heaven, and I'm going to save myself, and I. And people will start to realize, hey, what am I thinking about I? Where did this I come from? Who am I? The whole world will realize suddenly the oneness of God. That's the Aleph. This itself, just this new awareness of who we really are. By means of this, there becomes Geula. The Gola. By means of this, by means of revealing it, everything there is in the exile, the Alef, the Alufa Shalom. By means of revealing the oneness of God in the world, that God is creating everything for a purpose, then you remove the Helen Behester of the Gullus. How do we do that? We'll see. By learning Torah, we'll see. Umegalim, by means of this, you can reveal the Alufa Shalom. We can reveal the Alufo, the king of the world. We just finished saying, what? Adon Olam. Shebezet Hatachli to call in Yane, Galus, then suddenly it will be revealed why there was such this terrible thing of exile in the first place. Why it was created. Kaksha Megola Nase Geula, they'll be the Rebbe said, Odecha ki anaftabi. It's a pasuk in Yeshaya. It talks about all the, I think it's in the 11th chapter of Yeshaya. It talks about all these things that are going to be in the future. The Moshiach is going to come, and then it says, Odecha ki anaftabi. Then Moshiach is going to make it that the Jews will realize why we suffered so long. The Rebbe said before he was 3 years old, he said he already had it woven in his mind. It says it was already woven that Moshiach is going to come and he's going to make sense of all the suffering of the Jews. We're going to see why there is such a thing as exile. Geula hi giluya Alef. This is revealing the Alef, the level Alufo Shel Olam, that God is the master of the world, to reveal that in the Gola, in the exile. Giluya Emet, the revelation of the true inside of everything that's in the exile. The Kol HaPulot U'Mana Zagalot, and everything that we did in the time of exile. Giluya Lakus, revealing godliness in every matter of the world. Kafisha calls them Megale et Kavodo. This reveals the glory of Hashem. Shekal Masha Bora Kodesh Baruch Hu, that everything God created in the world, He only created it for His glory. Everything for the Aluf Shalom, and that's what we'll see. Can we try to do Dalit? Yes. We'll try. Why not? Huh? It'll take another 5 minutes or so. Maybe it's a little bit long here. It's not. What the Rebbe is going to say, oh, it's Dalit. No, yes. The Rebbe is going to say, you have to look at 3 things and you won't come to do a sin. What are the 3 things? The Rebbe says, you have to look at your Hashem and yourself and the world. We can do Dalit, but it's not going to get up. Let's just do Dalit. It's very short. Ha'amor le'el, that what we said before. This is explaining why Geula, the word for redemption, includes in it, or is mainly constituted from these 4 letters of Gola, exile. That the future redemption will elevate and give meaning to also Golus. I mean, you realize what the Rebbe is saying? You know how many goyim there are in the world? I mean, there's like 8 billion goyim in the world. 8 billion. And they believe in all these very bizarre things. Okay, everybody, Israel is always in the news, and everybody knows Jews are special, and they hate the Jews, whatever it is, the Jews. But the fact of the matter is how can we possibly have an effect on so many billions of people? Does that make any sense? Doesn't make sense. Okay, we see the corona is a little juke, a little nothing. It has an effect on the whole world for bad. For bad. So good is more stronger than bad. A little bit of light pushes away a lot of darkness. But the thing is, we have to make this good. And that's what the Rebbe is saying. And you don't even have to make a lot. Just a little bit. A little bit of good. We'll see. We have to understand, why is this so important that we elevate the world? Let the future redemption just be that all the Jews come to Israel, and we build a big wall around Israel. And anyone who wants to come in can come in. They have to act properly. And the rest of the world, let them drown in the darkness. What do we care, right? The plague of darkness. Says the Rebbe, no. No, that's not the redemption. The future redemption is no. The future redemption is we have to make sure that the whole world benefits. That's a very essential thing. Right? It's very essential. Isn't it a Jewish thing? Come on, the Jewish thing. We've suffered enough. Let us have the good and let them get the bad. That's not the whole idea. That's not the whole idea. God creates the whole entire world. We have to reveal godliness in the whole world. Why? Says Rebbe, why is that so important? That this is the 4 letters of Geula, or Gola. And all we're doing is just adding a little Alef. Even more, Amayla de Geula, this whole thing of the future redemption, it's not just that we're Aliyat Inyane Hagolot Inyan Olam. This is not just elevating things in the world. Like we said, there won't be any more kings and everybody will be free to worship Hashem. Right? They had their religions, and now we're going to have this religion. After the Tkufa Rishon, that the Rambam is talking about, Yitchadshu Inyanim, there'll be new things in the future redemption. Chadashim biyoter b'shinoi minhago shel olam. Eventually, the whole world will change. Ada Inyana Ikri, until the main thing, the Yesodi of the raising of the dead. Shehu chirush b'maisa b'reishis. There's never been such a thing like that everybody that died is going to raise up. There have been individual cases, but there have never been any cases, at least I know in the Chumah. Maybe it says that the bones in Yechezkel, and we had the prophecy of Yechezkel. What was it on Shvi Shel Pesach? It says that there were the 30,000 people that came up from the tribe of Ephraim, and after the thing with the Morah, all of the dead in the world are going to, at least all the Jews for sure, raising of the dead. Now that's something you don't see every day. All of a sudden, people popping up from graves, right? All the graves in the world, they're going to pop up. All these people that have been dead for thousands of years. If so, hayatachan, and this is going to be part of the geula. Hayatachan can it be the mitzav the la'atid, that the situation in the future will be, is also called, that's part of the geula. This is also called geula. This is also called geula. It's going to be a totally new world. There won't be any more death. It have no connection to the gulos, to the what was. Why is that also called geula? 4/5 of the word geula is composed of the word gola, exile. Even when there's raising of the dead, we're going to remember what's going on. So from this, understand shaklalas geula, that this whole new redemption that there's going to be is not that removed from this world. Even the highest things in the world is going to be totally different. Pure godliness everywhere, no more death. Nevertheless, all of it must be very, very interwoven with the whole entire exile now. Kashura imavoda hachnesas Alef. It's all depending on one thing: bringing the Alef into this physical world. Ajazet poel. This is what's going to bring the future redemption. The geula merkavas vosia gola, the goal of the exile. It's just going to be this little Alef is going to cause all these amazing changes. Gamin geula. This will raise up everything, including the idea of death. It'll totally be transformed, as we're going to learn, God willing, tomorrow. Be with us. Thank you very much for coming. 8:15 tomorrow morning.